From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something that you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
And broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Thursday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready. I am in the Clark Ford studio. Neal headed back from Jackson at some point today. Had the live show at Cathead last night for the greatest pod in the South. Jay Tate in attendance, David Brand in attendance. So you can listen to that today on the MPW Digital Network. Also tonight, another live show will be at Funky's for the third week in a row. Around 5:30, former Ole Miss defensive coordinator Dave Womack in attendance tonight as our special guest. Got some specials there. $4 daiquiris, $15 frat boy pizza tonight at Funky. So come hang out. We'll have trivia questions from Blue Delta Jeans. They're offering a $200 gift certificate again this week. The great people at Blue Delta, great product as well. So come hang out, have a chance to win, have some good food and drinks, and just chill with us. We took some pictures last week. You can get those autographed by Neal whenever you would like. So we'll be there tonight, and we do appreciate your attendance. So anyway, podcast brought to you. Yeah, Neal.
Got to get them from a better angle next time.
As I said, I've lived in Oxford long enough to know the correct angle to take a selfie, and from under is not the correct angle. You get all the fat and all the jowls and everything. So as that picture was being taken, I thought, I don't really want to be rude, but this is not going to come out very well. So we're going to have to get an upward angle this week as we take our photo tonight. So anyway,
I live in a house with one of the most social media savvy 15-year-olds on the planet. And I thought of her as that picture was being taken because I think Caroline would have recoiled in sheer horror had she seen that unfolding.
So she would have stopped it mid-photo.
Yeah, I don't think she would have watched it happen. I think that would have been more than her sense of. I don't think she would have been able to handle it. She would have stopped that. And in fairness to her, it was a photo that needed to be stopped.
Yeah, and it got lots of likes on Facebook. I was cringing with every single like. But anyway, we'll try to do better this week. The podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford. If you go to the website of Rebel Grove, you'll see the new logo they are using for all Blue Sky locations in Mississippi. You get the Speed Pass Plus. Download it. Save money at the pump every single time you fill up with Blue Sky in Mississippi. You also don't have to worry about identity theft, credit card skimmers, or the like. You don't have to go inside. Make sure you take care of everything at the pump. Save a little money in the process with Blue Sky and Speed Pass Plus. Next door at the Oxford Crystal, you get the pimento cheese bites. As we've been telling you, not a ton of mayonnaise taste, just good cheese taste, a little spice there at the Oxford Crystal. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is that number. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what new Ford you are looking for, and he'll take care of you. And when I say take care of you, here's an example of what Corey does to take care of you. My F-150 needed an oil change. It's obviously problematic for me to get to Amory on a weekday sometimes. So Corey provided me a number of opportunities. He brought someone over to get the truck, to take it back, to get an oil change. He left another vehicle for me, which allowed me to prank two of my kids and tell them that I had traded my truck in for that car. Both of them were fairly upset with me, and so it was kind of fun. And then they brought my truck back all in one day. That's just the kind of service you get from Clark Ford in Amory. 662-257-1900. Ask for a quote, get a quote, shop it around, all that stuff. You know the routine. And then at the end of the deal, tell them that you heard about Clark Ford on any of our family of podcasts. It's $500 off. Again, 662-257-1900.
I am currently in my office that you are out of town, and Mastercuts is seeding my yard out front right now. They're using some machine to do this, so I apologize if my shepherd starts barking uncontrollably in a second. He is incredibly freaked out. It's kind of like the outside yard equivalent of when the dog gets bothered by the vacuum cleaner. That's currently going on right now, and he's pacing and kind of trying to poke through the blinds. So at any point, he could break all of you guys' eardrums, and I do apologize. But anyway.
Well, he clearly believes that an attack is imminent, and he's trying to warn you of said attack, and you are absolutely ignoring his persistent warnings.
Well, I was snapping my fingers at him every time he got close to the blinds, and I think he's just gotten ticked off now. He has gone down the hall and I think headed into a bedroom. So I think he's given up on the aliens. But either way,
well, it could be that this is the moment of truth. I mean, a dog is man's best friend, and he could have said, you son of a bitch, I warned you. So if when they come through and rip your throat out, it's on you. Don't, as you take your dying breath, don't look to me as like, hey, where were you? Because I was right here, champ.
This is the first time this has happened to me. I have not seen one, knock on wood, in however long I've lived here. My neighbor last night killed, next to his air conditioning unit, a cottonmouth.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thanks for telling me.
You don't live here. You found one in your kitchen. I haven't had that yet, but neighbor next to the AC unit is close enough, I think.
Yeah. The kitchen was not fun. That was not a good experience.
Did you step on it?
Just missed it.
How'd you see it? The lights weren't all the way on, were they?
No, I sensed it.
You sensed it?
I did. No, I'm totally serious.
Okay, fair enough. You were a ninja in a past life, weren't you?
I think when it comes to snakes, I'm kind of ninja-ish. When I mow the yard, when I'm edging and stuff, man, my eyes are on a swivel.
So we're going to go to Jeffrey in about 10 minutes. Probably going to talk a lot about this with him as well.
I get to go because I'm excited. I'm like,
okay. Well,
I'm a kettle that's boiling over.
Sorry about that. I should have turned my phone calls off my computer while I was talking. I'm usually pretty good about that. We knew how this was going to play out. We knew what the answer was going to be. We've been predicting it for a while. However, when it happens in practice, oh my God, it looks much worse than you actually think it was going to.
Well, it does. And then the press conference. Oh, God.
It made the hostage video look like a piece of art last night.
Yeah, I haven't thought about it like that. But, yeah, at no point did anyone at The Ohio State University apologize to Courtney Smith.
Her name wasn't brought up until a reporter brought it up. Urban Meyer apologized to Buckeye Nation multiple times before mentioning her name, or never mentioning her name without prompt. And then, I know you're going here, and I don't want to screw up the punchline, but a guy that is an ultimate micromanager, a guy that is lauded for his organizational skills in all facets of his program, with a straight face, allowed it to be said that he lied because of medication causing memory lapses.
Yeah, it's the second time that he's blamed a health ailment on I use that as an excuse. Because the truth about Florida, Chase, the truth about him leaving Florida is not about Nick Saban beating him in a football game. That program was getting out of control. He was having a hard time hiding everything. He was having a hard time keeping everything on the down low. It was time for a fresh start because Urban Meyer's not a disciplinarian. Urban Meyer just wins games. He just wins games. That's all he does. He clearly cares about nothing else. But he has no – I'm disgusted this morning. I'm disgusted with the media that covers Ohio State. Bunch of freaking homers, apologists. All they're worried about is their bottom line. That's it. Hey, man, don't want to lose subscribers. I get it. Buckeye, I get it, but I don't approve of it. And I wouldn't have done it, and you know that. I'll give myself credit for this. I know I would have handled that story differently. I know that. Buckeye Nation doesn't deserve an apology. No one came into Buckeye Nation's home and beat it while its kids held on to its hip. No one at Buckeye Nation sent text to Shelley Meyer showing photographic evidence of abuse, hoping that someone would step in before it went too far. No one at Buckeye Nation endured that. Buckeye Nation did not deserve an apology, whatever the hell Buckeye Nation is. And by the way, this is a plea to ADs and coaches everywhere. Stop referring to your fan base as fill in the blank nation. Stop. It's stupid. Buckeye Nation wasn't involved in this. This was far more intimate than that. And Urban Meyer knew it. Urban Meyer knew it. But when the police didn't do anything, he didn't do anything. He should have absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, told Zach Smith, at the very minimum, you're on paid leave. Go get help. Go to alcohol rehab. Go get counseling. Go get therapy, because this cannot happen again. If she and you cannot coexist, then you need to get divorced and get separated and get this thing figured out, because you are a ticking time bomb, and I can't live with that on my conscience. But Urban Meyer has no conscience. That's what we learned yesterday. Urban Meyer has no conscience. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if something happened to Courtney Smith. He only cares if something happened to Urban Meyer. And I suppose, to some degree, Buckeye Nation. Because ultimately he believes he's judged by Buckeye Nation. And then the other thing, and this is just a little pet peeve. I'm never one to defend the NCAA. I'm not one to defend the NCAA model. I do not like it. I've made that clear. I am not meaningful enough. I'm not important enough for my voice to be heard. But I've always been a pretty consistent critic of the NCAA. The NCAA had no recourse here. There's nothing that the NCAA can do. And I don't know that we want to give the NCAA that power to step in and overrule administrative decisions. Because at the end of the day, the bottom line, we got to see what Ohio State's value system is yesterday. Coaches always love to talk about core values. Core values. One of Ohio State's core values was revealed yesterday. Just win. Just win. Win games. Win games. And if someone comes after you, cover it up. Delete your phone calls. Make it go away and conveniently say that, hey, I just forgot. Maybe it's all that damn CTE. I don't know. I just forgot.
Reading from Adam Rittenberg here, Meyer's first reaction to learning of Brett McMurphy's report from Ops Director Brian Volatilini or whatever was to adjust settings on his cell phone so text older than a year would be deleted. So, because of FOIA request, investigators called response concerning but found no cover-up. Huh?
It's absolutely a cover-up.
It's the definition of a cover-up when you manipulate something to hide evidence. And why did this take 10 hours?
Because they had to figure out the language they were going to write.
10 hours.
They sat in the room. Yeah, and on top of this, it's a great question, Chase, and here's the answer. Urban Meyer didn't want a suspension. Urban Meyer did not believe he deserved a suspension.
No, fault.
According to multiple reports, Urban Meyer felt that he should either be reinstated immediately or fired.
And they weren't firing him. No shot.
Weren't firing him probably because of the money. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But make no mistake, we all now know completely, without a shadow of a doubt, that Urban Meyer is a guy who harbored a murderer, knowing that Aaron Hernandez had shot someone in the face, kept him on his team, unpunished. He's harbored a football player, Chris Rainey, who texted his, I would assume, soon-to-be ex-girlfriend with "time to die, bitch." You text my daughter with "time to die, bitch," and there are problems. Major problems. I mean, fundamental law enforcement getting involved problems. Not for Urban Meyer. No, just not going to get to play against Louisiana Monroe. No, sir. Nope, you're going to learn this lesson the hard way, Chris. And in this case, even worse. Even worse. For a period that goes at least 9 years, he knew that he was harboring on his staff a violent domestic abuser. And, Chase, I was telling somebody last night, we were talking, me and Jay Tate and a couple people in the bar. I don't know the statistics. I have no idea. So I'm shooting off the hip here, but I'm going to guess that for every domestic violent incident that turns fatal, I'm going to guess that in the overwhelming majority of those incidents, there was no intent to kill. It just got out of hand. And I put just in quotes. It got out of hand. Urban Meyer went to bed night after night for 9 years, knowing, hey, this could be the night. This could be the night that it just goes too far. He's having relationships inside the building. It's a volatile mix. He's a heavy drinker. He's got a temper. He's got rage issues. That's what Shelley Meyer told Urban Meyer in a text in 2015. He has rage issues.
Yet Urban says during the press conference last night that he had no knowledge of half of those texts.
Yeah, just didn't see them. Because you know how that works. When your significant other, when your wife, fiance, girlfriend, mother, brother, when those kind of people send you texts, when people that are significant people in your life send you texts that inform you of things like that, you just ignore them. You don't even pay attention.
Now, look, there's nothing funny about any of this, but in addition to all you're saying, Zach Smith, according to all of his performance reports, was just bad at his job. Had multiple negatives on a performance report that wasn't even associated with this stuff. I mean,
he was well, you have to wonder.
Skeletons, closets.
You have to wonder why he was protected. I have my guess. They keep saying it's because he's Earl Bruce's nephew.
Give me a break.
Exactly. Makes you wonder. Was Zach Smith the bagman? Was Zach Smith the fixer? Was Zach Smith the guy that made the things happen? No indication that he was one hell of a football coach. And sure no indication that he's one hell of a man. Maybe he was the guy that did the dirty work. He knew where every skeleton was buried, where every bone was hidden.
Let's bring in Jeffrey in 1 second to continue this conversation. For I'll tell you, the podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting. Understand your market, a leader in condo financing and the float down option. 662-234-2704 or JLOW, JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
The podcast is also brought to you by Robert Gambrell and Gambrell and Associates. Robert knows that many of you listening to the podcast will never need a bankruptcy attorney or a Social Security disability attorney. However, many of you may be interested in reviewing your financial situation to consider asset protection. This is a part of what a good bankruptcy attorney does. Many of you have friends or relatives that get into difficult financial situations. Gambrell and Associates helps many people work through their times of hardship, whether that results in filing a bankruptcy petition or working to avoid a bankruptcy filing. Others are worried about their credit score. For those people, many times they refer their clients to Brian McLaurin, another advisor on this podcast. Whatever your needs are, your relatives or friends can get a free consultation for 1 hour or more to help make your decision on what is best for you. Look up Robert Gambrell on avvo.com or superlawyers.com or contact him at his Oxford office at 662-281-8800. Youth basketball registration in the Oxford Park Commission is right around the corner. It begins on September the 4th, so sign up your son or daughter for one of their leagues. The age range is 5 to 15. The cost is $50 per kid. Last year, OPC had more than 600 young people take part in their leagues. The numbers are expected to be similar this year, so don't miss your opportunity when it comes time to sign up for OPC Youth Basketball. It's www.oxfordparkcommission.com. And if you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, look no further than Grenada Nissan. It's located just off Interstate 55 in Grenada, Mississippi. Grenada Nissan has a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. Go in, test drive one today. The service is fantastic. Tell Gene and Sandy you heard about it on the podcast. You heard about it at rebelgrove.com, and you'll get Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com.
Jeffrey, as you might imagine, we were discussing Urban Meyer a little bit this morning, the idiocy surrounding the Ohio State program, and as Neil said, if nothing else, you know exactly where they're coming from now. There's not many illusions left in that program.
No, don't you think that Ohio State is one of those weird schools that even though we completely understand that, hey, it's football first and foremost, they like to promote themselves as an academic institution way more than they actually are. After what happened yesterday, they can no longer do that. Like Ohio State's the group of fans that likes to rib Alabama. Like, could you just imagine if we did it the way that they do it?
Yeah.
Well, no, I can't imagine it because y'all do it worse. Like that, what I watched last night was breathtaking on multiple fronts. Number one, they legitimately started going through the Eric Cartman list of excuses. First, they started with, I misinterpreted the rules. Say it with me again. I misinterpreted the rules. Then they went with, then they basically, at the end, they basically were just like, F you, F you, F you. We don't care, F you. And then the kicker, though, was my all-time favorite when, at the end, when we started reading the report, when Urban Meyer threw in a Roger Clemens, he misremembered.
Which is medication. He forgets. He just forgets. He's taking all these meds.
It must be. Hold on, Neil. Though you got to admit, let's have a little bit of empathy for once. Do you know how hard and tough it must be to live every single day and know that you might forget something that could be beneficial to you at any given moment?
This comes in handy in domestic situations, work situations, really in any situation whatsoever.
That was my first thought. How would it be, Chase, if you came home to Kara, Neil, if you came home to Laura, and they had confronted you about something? I'm not even saying it has to be something serious, but they confronted you, and you gave the exact excuses that Urban Meyer gave. How would that turn out for y'all?
Yeah, like nothing more than, hey, you forgot to go to the post office. Like something very just innocuous, whatever.
Make it something very trivial, something that at the end of the day has little to no consequences, but she asked you to do it.
Yeah, you say, remember how I told you my ankle's been bothering me? I took some ibuprofen, and that stuff it kills my memory.
God, it's terrible, isn't it?
The kids come home sometimes, and look, my kids are all really good kids, and they make really good grades, but sometimes it happens. Basically, someone forgot to study, chose not to study, bomb a test. Now all they have to say is, I just misremembered.
It was that Thursday. Oh, God, I misremembered. I really thought it was Wednesday.
I wonder how that's going to go at, like, a kid taking chemistry 202 at Ohio State. Yeah, I just misremembered the lab. I've been taking this medication, and it messes up my memory, and I forgot the lab.
Well, as Andy Staples wrote, we talk about all the time that football coaches are not rocket scientists, but this dude, yeah, right. But this dude, he's using all this for excuses for forgetting something about domestic abuse. However, you're more than fine with him running your multi-million-dollar program and operating everything along those lines in peak efficiency. Like, I get we understand that, but can we step back for a second and realize just how dumb that is? We're going, hey, look, the CEO of our company is a complete idiot. He is on multiple medications that makes him forget everything, yet we're going to put him in charge of another wing over here too.
Yeah, that was when I realized, like, oh, they're so full of it. Like, that was when I realized, like, when they started using that and they started buying that, I actually was of the opinion, I understand why yesterday actually took a long time. I think there were some people in there that were not comfortable with what they were about to do.
I do too. I think there were people in there that were saying, why are we not firing him? Why are we not doing the right thing? Why are we enabling this further? Is winning football games, is that really? Because, not everyone in that room, I'm going to guess, not everyone in that room lives and dies by football results.
No, I bet there were at least one or two people on that board that don't know the result of all 12 games.
Yes. And there might have been someone in there that said, what are we doing? We are setting an example. Forget the rest of the world. Forget the public relations. We're setting an example for the people who attend this university. which is ultimately what we're supposed to be thinking about. When you're on the board of regents or board of trustees at fill in the blank state, your job is to do what is in the best interest of that university.
This was what I think what angered me the most last night. I think this is what angered me the most, and it would take a while to catalog it all. But I think my all-time favorite last night was when they gave Urban Meyer a soft toss. Do you have anything you'd like to say to Courtney Smith? And if you didn't know that question was coming, then you really might be truly ill. I'm really sorry we're in this situation, which roughly translates to, I'm really sorry you put me in this situation. I wish you wouldn't have talked. I wish you wouldn't have done anything. I'm sorry I have to be here right now.
Oh,
it was a scolding is what it was.
He believes he has been victimized. That's what's crazy. Urban Meyer believes that he has been made a victim, and Urban Meyer believes that Buckeye Nation has been victimized because they have not been able to have the grace of his presence over the last few weeks at the Buckeyes practices for the big football season. That's what this is. They don't care about her. Zach Smith's attorney.
That was an unbelievable statement.
Zach Smith's attorney said, basically, the mistake he made was he married that bitch.
Right, and the mistake she made, the mistake she made was marrying a guy that treated her like a punching bag.
Yes. It's listen, man, I would have had more respect for Urban Meyer and what's the AD? His name escapes me.
Gene Smith.
Gene Smith,
who proved yesterday that you, sir, are 1,000% inconsequential.
He also dropped when referring to the university president on national television in the middle of a very serious press conference. He called him boss. I'll take this one, boss.
It was
a jaw-dropping moment.
I mean, the only thing better would have been calling him Chief.
Yeah, which Chase has done before to me. And let me tell you what, I think I would have rather been called short stuff. You don't realize how condescending Chief is.
That is a good point. It is a vocal tick that I have, that I will do that without any negative connotation or meaning in a derogatory fashion, but it does come across like a complete and utter jerk.
You have to hear it's one of those ones where you have to hear it, because I don't know if it's maybe like Chase and my generation where my first thought goes to, hey, not now, Chief, I'm in the effing zone. But like that video, but I don't know. It cut to the quick. It literally cut to the quick. That was a tough one to take.
But I would have had more respect last night had Ohio State just walked up to the podium. I really would have. I would have had more respect. I would still have the urge to vomit, but I would have had more respect for them had they said, listen, no, it's not a great look. We get it. This guy's one hell of a football coach, and he wins a lot of games, and we've raised our season ticket rates 4 times since he's been here, and this gullible ass fan base just keeps paying for it, because what else the hell is there to do in Columbus? And so they show up, and we make money off this. Look at the buildings we've built. Look at the salaries we've all got. Look at the car Shelly's driving. That's an M-Class Mercedes, baby. We're not – are you – listen, I'm just glad that nothing happened to Courtney. I'm glad that this never went too far. I'm sorry she got her ass beat a little bit. I really am. I'd say I feel bad about it, but I don't.
But I don't, yeah.
But I don't. And look, we are wasting time. I have got film to watch. That Oregon State film is not going to watch itself. Now, you all little people, get out of here. I've got work to do. I'm back. I would have said, hey, you know what? At least they're transparent. But when you try to do I'd like to apologize to Buckeye Nation.
They apologized 3 times to Buckeye Nation.
Yeah,
0 times to Courtney Smith and her family.
Because those fans in Section M, they were violated.
Well, the cesspool that it is
point.
an Ohio State message board is quite the cross-section of the human race, as they are pissed he even got that. He followed protocol, by God.
So was Urban Meyer. By the way, I think last night he incriminated himself that he didn't follow protocol because at one point, either in 2015 or 2016, like they do the whole protocol thing that it was up to Gene Smith to fire Zach Smith. Gene Smith recommended that they do fire Zach Smith. I believe it was in 2016, and Urban Meyer elected not to. So that whole story fell apart. So also, though, while we're going through Urban Meyer's best moments last night, how about when he dropped the "I now know more about domestic violence and take domestic violence more seriously today than he did in 2009?" Because I don't know if everyone remembers this, but back in 2009, we had a tremendous shortage of punching bags. And I know people forget that, that was a real crisis in the world. And just shout out to Courtney Smith because, she really stepped up there. But the idea that you now all of a sudden, this idea that you take domestic violence more seriously today than we did then, it's like, it is legitimately the first lesson every freaking parent teaches their son. Don't hit a woman.
Yes.
It's the very first thing.
I can remember Carson getting mad at one of his sisters when he was 4 or 5 years old, and he lashed out physically, and it was, whoa, nope, here it comes, learning opportunity, about to ruin your day, little boy. He doesn't hit girls. You don't hit girls. You're taught not to hit girls.
Take a break in our talk with Jeffrey to tell you the podcast is also brought to you by Locker Stockers. Let them take the hassle out of stocking your locker or suite for this game day. The customer places the order, and they handle purchase and delivery to your locker or suite prior to game day. Lock in your preseason price right now by giving them a call at 662-586-1487 or send them an email at info@lockerstockers.com.
This podcast also brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX legacy realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market in Oxford better than Harry. Go to his site. He'll prove it to you. It's harryalexander.com. Click on the Properties and Neighborhoods tab at the top left. Filter through by what you are looking for, and he'll send you send him an email, ha@harryalexander.com. Rebel Nation 2018 is the year of the fan. Ole Miss Athletics wants to showcase your stories and recognize you, the Ole Miss fan base. Exciting prizes and experiences throughout the year will be featured on omyearofthefan.com and updated often. So be sure to visit omyearofthefan.com. And this podcast is brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. When you call OUB, you speak directly with the live person. There's no 10 buttons. There's no 5-minute wait. What there is Kasasa. It's the absolute best cash checking account. With it, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000 and refund ATM fees nationwide. To learn more about OUB, check out Live Oxford, bankoxford.com, or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. Now back to Jeffrey Wright on the Billy's Pecans Hotline. Chase and I were kind of talking about it, joking about it, laughing about it. We've all had situations where a girl was really angry. And
I'm not familiar with this.
And lashed out. Well, listen, my experiences in Monroe were sometimes unique. And I mean, I've had experiences where they weren't leaving the apartment. They weren't leaving, and they were angry, and they were not leaving, and they were threatening. And you can't strike. You must be diplomatic, get out of the situation, figure it out. But it's basic, all jokes aside, it's basic being a man 101. No matter how bad that situation is, you do not strike a woman unless your life is in danger. You just don't.
And even then, you got to have a really good reason.
Well, I mean, if she's got a gun on you and she's trying to pistol whip you, it's probably okay to push her off. But for the love of God, I'm being real here. This is insane. If you're a woman and you go to Ohio State football games as a habit, are you going now?
Well, yeah, he's 6-0 against Michigan, right?
No, I'm serious for a minute. If you're a woman and now you know precisely the people that you're cheering for, you know what they think about women because they revealed it last night. To their credit, they made no bones about how they feel about women. They made it very clear. If you're a woman, can you sit in Section M and cheer for the Buckeyes?
I mean, I can't even, like, if I were, I don't know, like, I'd like to think that if I were, you and I've talked about this, we can never say, like, I would never, but I'd like to think if I were an Ohio State fan right now, I'd be returning my season tickets and asking for a refund.
Be hard to go to that game as a man if you have a wife. If you have
what
children.
If you have daughters?
Yeah, if you have little girls that you're trying to be a role model for them. Hey, let's go cheer for Coach Meyer and the Buckeyes.
Now, here's my question. Remember, Ohio State's been here before. They did the whole press conference with Tressel that went horrific.
A lot of similarities, yeah.
After they were announced they were only suspending him for 2 games, there was a lot of uproar. The press conference went horrific, and that thing just kept spiraling and spiraling. Am I insane for thinking last night wasn't the end?
No, because you watched Brett McMurphy and in fairness, a few others. Dan Wolken had some interesting material.
Wait, were y'all doing the thing that I did last night where as soon as that ended, you just had Twitter pulled up and you just kept refreshing, waiting for Brett?
Oh, yeah, I was waiting for Brett.
You know,
that's all I was waiting for.
I got a little sad because the way he was disseminating, I kind of wondered if that was it.
I couldn't help but wonder the same. Maybe he has used his material.
Yeah.
I found the same, but he did also drop some new stuff last night.
Well, that's kind of my point. If you had new stuff, wouldn't it go in a story?
Unless, well, because the story might run. If you're going to publish the story, you don't publish the story at 11 o'clock last night. You wait until today.
I took it as he was quoting
You put that bad boy out at 10 or 11 o'clock this morning.
I took it as he was quoting a story. Didn't he also post something on Facebook again?
I think he just posted I think he was posting like recap stuff from that release that Ohio State put out. However, did not put it out in time for journalists to reference it during the press conference. Just afterward.
How about the text that he got Friday night from Smith's attorney?
Yeah.
What a mensch of a guy that guy is.
I mean, that guy, you talk about that. That's what you expect from an attorney, a legal representative in a domestic violence case. You expect that you are so effed to a reporter.
A lot of professionals.
My favorite was when Brett McMurphy was explaining to the attorney what blackmail was.
Yeah.
Legally.
Jeffrey, not to completely segue away here. If you got something else, feel free. But did you settle on how much you're willing to pay for this golf pay-per-view?
Yeah. I mean,
you feel better about it than I do. Frankly, I've got kind of a bad taste in my mouth about this.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Like yesterday was like the exact, as someone who loves wrestling and someone who loves like big time fights, yesterday was like the opposite of what you're supposed to do to promote an event. Like it was pathetic when they were going back and forth. I did feel like an idiot though when I was like, hey, Phil's on Twitter. And then it took me until they announced that the match was yesterday. It took me until then to realize, like, oh, everything is so calculated with these people. But the trash talking was terrible. I do want to know, like, here's the deal. Like, we know that there's going to be side bets that go to charity. I want to know what the side bets on the side bets are that goes to Tiger and Phil. Their favorite charities themselves.
For anyone that is not following here quickly, Tiger and Phil, a pay-per-view one-on-one match, Thanksgiving weekend in Las Vegas. The winner gets $9 million. They are also doing a lot of Turner is doing it. A lot of programming elsewhere. HBO is doing a 24/7 series leading up. Bleacher Report is doing some stuff as well, and then I believe some other Turner channel is doing some after the fact programming.
Bleacher Report Live, I believe.
Okay, is doing some things also, but pay-per-view for two dudes in their 40s trash talking each other during one round of golf, it just gives a really weird taste on the heels of, I mean, we've got one buddy that still has gotten nowhere near over it. Frankly, Phil losing a lot of Q rating, Phil not being very good at golf anymore, and now just doing another very, very obvious money grab that kind of goes against at least the slickness that he typically handles the public and the media.
Yeah, I still would be much more inclined. I wanted them to put their own money up. Like, there's something about it that someone else is like. They're like, if you lose, what do you really lose? Like, now you're not even on national television and you lose. Like, at one point, there's like, yeah, okay, well, you're on national TV and everyone saw you lose to your biggest rival of your career, like one-on-one. Like, at least that was slight of a deterrent. Now, you lost a pay-per-view. Who cares? Like, every possible I had is now gone. I'll still probably buy it just because I bought way dumber things. I mean, for God's sakes, I'm professional wrestling.
What do we think the price is going to be, though?
I think it'll be like $19.99.
Okay, that's an easy one to swallow. They're not going to like try to throw a $75 price tag on this, right?
I don't think it's going to be like a boxing match. Now, I mean, I guess it's in Vegas, but the thing is, I can't see even like for instance, it's ingrained in hardcore boxing fans. You just have to buy the fight. You know what I mean? Like that's part of their fandom. And in fairness to those guys, most of the time they're having get-togethers because there's, you got a big fight every 2-3 months, and they're having get-togethers, and then everybody grills out, you drink some beers, you watch the fight. Like you understand, like that's part of it.
What day of the week is this on?
I think it's on Friday, isn't it?
Okay,
but it's not exactly ingrained in golf fans. Hey, pay-per-view's part of our experience.
No. And these one-on-one things in the past have gone spectacularly bad.
Well, yeah, because there's so much. It's not like they hit a shot and then it's 3-4 minutes before they hit another shot.
Well, it's match play. It could be over in 14 holes.
Yeah, something tells me both these guys. I'm not saying this is a professional wrestling match, but I'm betting it's pretty close. I bet this thing goes 18 holes.
There's no casual fan that has any interest in this, correct, Neal McCready?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that
you're not paying $20 for it.
Oh God, no. No, look, I want to watch Tiger Woods like a couple of Sundays ago. I want to watch him chase a major. I'm not interested in watching him chase a cash grab. I don't have any problem with it. And if anybody spends the $20, good for you. It's cool. I don't care. But no, I don't think the casual sports fan like me is even remotely dialed in on something that I've got to pay an extra $20 for.
Tiger is really liking being liked, and Phil is begging for relevance in any way right now. That's all this is Mickelson seeing it dying and begging for relevance.
Yeah, I can buy that. I got to think most casual people are like me. Like, I have DirecTV and I'll order a movie here and there. I can order 4 or 5 movies for the cost of that pay-per-view.
Yeah, I just have bought dumber things. So.
Oh, sure. And look, if you're a big golf fan, yeah, you watch. But I think this is going to end up being one of those niche things that the only people that watch are the.
For golf fans, you have to buy it, if nothing else, to be able to follow along on Twitter, frankly.
If you're a big golf fan, it's interesting. It's 2 of the biggest names in the history of the sport playing in a unique, different kind of environment, setting, whatever. So sure, but I don't know that.
I'll tell you what else, though, is interesting to me. It's on one of the biggest college football weekends of the year. And a lot of golf fans are college football fans. And I got to think if you're in the middle of, if you're just watching football, and you got to fork over, let's say it's $30. What if you got to fork over $30 to watch a one-on-one golf match?
You're not doing it. Look, if you're going to do pay-per-view, you're going to have to do this bad boy on like a Tuesday night.
I mean, Chase, you're
against it.
Hey, so you watch as much golf as any human being, and your first message to me yesterday was, man, I don't think I'm buying this.
No, I'm only interested in this is a group activity. If it's okay, 5 of us get together and hang out and grill and do whatever like that. I just don't really see myself, unless the Twitter thing overwhelms me, sitting alone in my recliner and going, all right, let me turn this on by myself and flick it on for 4.5 hours. I don't know.
Yeah, I might be wrong, but I feel like this is not going to be a financial success.
Well, it's going to have sponsorship money out of the wazoo. It's why it's going to be a financial success. But I don't know. I've got a weird taste in my mouth, and to me, it's going to be a negative thing for Phil once again. It's not going to impact Tiger, but I do for some reason I feel like this has more impact on Mickelson than it does Woods.
Well, let's look at it on paper. Tiger now. Think of everything that happened to Tiger Woods. Good, bad, and I'm not even saying woe is he, because everything that happened in Tiger's life is completely self-inflicted. But think about everything that guy went through. The embarrassment, everything. As soon as that guy got back on the course, everyone's like, thank God, he's back, baby. He's back. And we forgot it all. We don't care. Like, that was the greatest thing. The biggest irony of it all is winning cures everything. Remember when they ran that ad right after he got caught basically banging anyone and everyone?
Yeah.
We found out that it's not even winning cures all. Just go away for enough that we realize how much we need you.
Okay, in your last minute here, we got odds on it from Vegas. We've got Tiger Woods as a minus 180, almost a 2-1 favorite over Mickelson in a one-round match, which is amazing. That is ridiculous odds. You can get Mickelson plus 150, but laying 2-1 almost on 18 holes seems ridiculous.
Well, it also, it started at minus 140, and it's gone up to minus 180. I almost think it's worth just taking the flyer on Mickelson, even though I think Woods almost worth taking the flyer on Mickelson, because I'm convinced that this thing goes 18 holes.
It's fair.
You know what I mean? I think this is going to be enough of a show to where I'd rather just take the odds. Now, the weird thing is, if you would have just given me minus 140, I would have probably just maxed it.
Yeah.
Because Tiger's just better.
Right. That's fair. All right, Jeff. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Thanks to Jeffrey for giving us time on every single Thursday morning, and also thanks to a few other partners we have, including Stacy Berry. The Mid-South's growing faster than ever. If you want to make Memphis your new home, Stacy Berry, the Keller Williams agent, is the person to call, whether it's downtown, midtown, Germantown, or Collierville. Born and raised in the Bluff City, she knows the dynamic and unique intricacies the city has to offer and is wanting to put you in the 901 today. So if you're looking to sell a home, buy a home, or invest in real estate, call the Berry Home Team and let Stacy unlock Memphis for you. 901-481-6420. Stacy Lane Berry at KW.com or theberryhometeam.com. That's Stacy with an E, the name to know in Memphis.
Guests, including Jeffrey Wright, join us on the Billy's Pecans hotline. Let Billy's Pecans get you ready for your tailgate, your road trips, everything. Holiday season, believe it or not, it'll be here before you know it. You know how football season goes. It rolls by. It'll be the holidays soon. So start checking out that website. It's billyspecans.com. Great selection of treats, pecans, the toasted pecans, all sorts of chocolate pecans, cinnamon spice pecans, cheese Krispies, coffee cakes, jellies, sauces. Everything there is fantastic. Give it a shot. billyspecans.com. You won't be sorry. Podcast also brought to you by Megan Phillips with LAH Real Estate. She's the person to call for all of your real estate needs in the Birmingham area. With almost a decade of experience, Megan's knowledge and expertise can help you buy or sell your home today. So visit her website, meganmphillips.com. That's MEAGANM Phillips.com, or call Megan at 205-602-7929. Again, 205-602-7929. And speaking of tailgating, it won't be long now. I guess, 2 weeks until Ole Miss and Southern Illinois play the first of 7 games in Oxford. Southern Illinois doesn't play 7. Ole Miss does. Southern Illinois plays the first one. They'll be there on September the 8th. You will be too. You'll be tailgating in the Grove, getting ready for the opener, the home opener. Let 7 South tailgating make it so much easier, so much more fun, so much more convenient. They're celebrating 10 years of business this season. If you tailgate with 7 South once, you'll never tailgate without them again. Set up your own personal gear. They can do it. You want to rent everything from them, they can do that as well. No one's going to match their customer service, their attention to detail. It's 7southtailgating.com.
Also, remember, when you are getting ready for that tailgate, if you stop by Oxford Wine and Spirits, located on College Hill Road next to Lost Pizza, spend $150 or more, and they take 10% off the liquor sales, 5% off wine if you mention the podcast. I was in there yesterday. I picked up the Hoodoo Chicory liqueur. It has been in stock for a couple days there. A couple bottles already gone. So stop in, get that. And I told Neil yesterday, I did notice that in addition to just its better taste, Jay Tate bragging about it on Twitter last night, as I mentioned, also has twice the alcohol proof of Bailey's. Used it in much the same way, but not as sweet. It's better, and it's about I believe it's 34% compared to 16%. So if you're not messing around, it's definitely the way to go, Neil.
Might explain some of the deterioration of the greatest pod in the South as those podcasts unfold.
Well, it's one of the better moments when you open it, because you open it up and, with Bailey's, it kind of has like a sweet smell or whatever. You open the chicory liqueur and there's an alcohol smell. You go, okay, we're not in Kansas anymore. This is different. This is a different beverage here. So, yeah, give it a shot. Use it in much the same way that you would other liqueurs, but it is in Oxford at Oxford Wine and Spirits. How'd the show go last night?
It went well. We had a good time. David Brandt was with us.
Did everyone stay coherent for the full hour?
Yeah, I think so. It was pretty on that scale. We stayed sort of middle ground. It was all good.
I got called out on Twitter. I was not aware that I was being overly derogatory about Jay Tate's hair color. Just that I had questions. I wanted to know why more than anything else.
I think Jay has had his feelings hurt by your questioning of his hair. So I don't know. It's something that the two of you can work out. I did confirm that Jay will be in Oxford on the Thursday before the Auburn Ole Miss football contest, and he'll be at Funky's with us on that Thursday night. Get your reservations now.
Oh God. Okay.
Funky's on that Thursday night.
Could be a lot of fun. That could be a good one.
That's going to be a hot ticket.
Jay Tate. As we live and breathe. All right, let's preview it here a little bit.
He's bringing Courtney with him, which means he won't have to even think about driving, so you can only imagine.
And she's a pretty good sport. She kind of lives and let live with him.
Oh, yeah. No, there's no question about that. She's not judging her husband. She's just tolerating. And, that'll be an interesting evening. I think that's October the 18th. There at Funky's in Oxford.
Yeah, that's correct. What did y'all talk about last night?
We talked about Ohio State. We talked about Maryland. We previewed the SEC West pretty detailed. And we also talked about the band Toto and their song Africa, which everybody loves and they hate. And we gave each other a challenge for our writing that starts with week 1. Has to be completed by the end of the college football season on your respective beats. And in David's case, probably by the end of the last bowl game that he plays. There are 3 words that must be included in your copy between now and then. And
just once.
Just once.
What are the words?
I don't have them in front of me. It's 3 of the words from the song Africa by Toto. Olympus, Serengeti, and I can't remember the other one. I'll need to look it up.
Olympus is probably fairly easy.
Kilimanjaro. Ooh. But you can't just throw them in like, hey, it's Olympus. I mean, you gotta work it in.
Well, in some
thanks. Clever, creative way.
This could be tough for David because the AP is a little more strict on content.
Exactly. That's what we were talking about last night.
It will get edited out.
David's editor will be like, hey, man, what's this about Kilimanjaro?
Yeah, the stanza you're referring to in Toto by Africa is, or Africa by Toto, sorry, is the wild dogs crowd in the night as they grow restless, longing for some solitary company. I know that I must do what's right, as sure as Kilimanjaro rises like Olympus above the Serengeti. Really, you just use that one sentence and it covers all three. I seek to cure what's deep inside, frightened of the thing that I've become.
Yeah. You know, they've never been to Africa. They just it was just like a riff. They just started talking. That's great. It's one of my favorite songs. Weezer just did a remake of it. It's not half bad.
You think this song's good?
Oh, you don't like that song?
It's fine. I mean,
oh, I love it. And that song comes on, I'm in.
And I like 80s music, but I don't know.
Oh, it's one of my favorite 80s songs.
Number 1 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, February 5th, 1983.
Those were good days.
Reached number 3 on the UK singles chart at the same time.
Yeah, the British have no taste.
In 2017, it was named, quote, the internet's favorite song.
Yeah, see, I'm not alone. I'm telling you, man, I've spent my entire life thinking that I was this outlier, kind of, that I was this bizarre person with just weird. And I found out that I'm really mainstream. I represent the main. Gallup should put me on their poll, except I don't want to have to do it. I probably represent a lot of opinions. I'm just willing to express mine.
One of the songwriters says, at the beginning of the 80s, I watched a late-night documentary on TV about all the terrible death and suffering in Africa. It both moved and appalled me, and the pictures just wouldn't leave my head. I tried to imagine how I'd feel about it if I were there and what I would do. In 2015, he explained again, the song is about a man's love of a continent rather than a personal romance.
Yes.
In 18, he said... He explained the song is about a person flying in to meet a lonely missionary. Anyway, yeah.
So the song changed meaning. That happens in life.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't mind that. I mean, I want to know what your original intent was, but I don't mind the meaning changing to you as time goes on. Let's not lie about the original intent, however.
Yeah. I mean, the original intent was, hey, we need a song. They actually did not want to put it on the album, but the producers and such insisted that it be on the album.
Yeah, good job by the producers.
Yeah, they made a lot of money.
In 2012, Africa was listed by music magazine NME in 32nd place on its list of the 50 most explosive choruses in music history. So anyway, there you go. There's your.
Hey, last thing on, circle back to Urban Meyer for a second. You're always kind of right on these things. Urban Meyer's not going to coach the first 3 games.
However, he gets to game plan and do every practice. He's only forbidden to be on the sidelines on game day, by the way.
Can he be at the stadium?
I don't know.
When he gets back, I think their first game back is Tulane or something. When he gets back for a real game.
It's kind of rude to the Greenies. Go ahead.
Is the media doing the game? They're going to treat him like a conquering hero returning to the battlefield, or are they going to call him what he is?
Neither. Somewhere in the middle. It'll be. It will be mentioned in passing, but it will not be dwelled on, and it will be moved on. Corporate partners, ESPN, ABC, whatever channels the game's on.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen?
Oh, I know you're right.
I mean, there's just no doubt. I mean, I'll look at it here, just so their schedule as we're getting done. We find it. Big Ten right here. They are in the Big Ten East. Yeah, they are. Still don't know my East and West in the Big Ten, by the way. No clue. I know a little bit of it, but I don't know the whole thing. Okay, he comes back for Tulane, but the next week, September 29th, mark your calendars, he's headed to Happy Valley.
When's their first home game that he's in? Tulane?
Tulane is at home, yeah, and then on the 6th, they play Indiana. They frankly don't have a major home game against a team that can beat them until Michigan at the end of the year, and Michigan can't beat them either. So,
the story that day, the Tulane game, is walk the stands and walk up to females in the stands. How do you feel about him down on the sideline?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? That's the story. If I'm the sports editor of the Columbus Dispatch, the Cleveland whatever. If I'm the guy running SI, that's the story we're working on. We're sending and I'm helping my guy. I'm getting multiple reporters to go out, canvass the stadium, walk up to as many female patrons as is possible, and ask, how do you feel about that guy being on the sidelines today? How does that make you feel?
Yeah, if you're SI, you're hollering at Dellinger and going, hey, book a room.
Yeah, book a room, and we're going to send 15 people up there to help you. And they'll put quotes and stuff for you so that you because you can't do that by yourself. We're gonna canvass the stadium. We're gonna help you do it, and then plan to head back to your room after the contest and buckle down, because it's going to be several hours of parsing through things, and we're going to put together a meaningful story. That's what I would do, and I suspect someone will do it.
Just a little news here. Honestly, I have not researched it enough to give an educated opinion. However, my first thought is just always kind of negative on these things. I see that the Texas Tech running back has his theft charge dismissed a day after he was arrested. This either means that there was absolutely no case, or there is a cover-up being involved, because the quote, very, very strong here, says, let me find it. Where's it at? I had it a second ago. From the Lubbock County District Attorney, Matt Powell, there was not enough sufficient evidence, in my opinion, that a Lubbock County jury could find him guilty of this crime beyond a reasonable doubt. I am sorry the young man got arrested. He should have never been arrested. The case should have never been filed. They quote from the DA.
It's a pretty strong quote.
That's a really strong quote, which might tell me there was some lies or something going on that completely exonerated him, frankly. As cynical as I am, that quote was strong enough that without any really prior knowledge, I go, something might have been amiss here.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. A quote that strong from the district attorney tells me that the district attorney is not happy that the charges were filed, because he doesn't think that's what they're. He doesn't think those. He doesn't like wasting time.
Yeah, it was a hindrance on his day yesterday, basically.
Yeah, most, and again, I say most, I know there are exceptions. Most people who become district attorneys put their jobs at the forefront of their priorities. Yeah,
one day after he was arrested on a theft charge, Texas Tech starting running back DeLeon Ward had his case dismissed in Lubbock County Court, citing insufficient evidence. In short, a grave mistake was made regarding Ward, who had an arrest warrant issued against him after an indictment by a grand jury was returned. So, yeah, well, I don't know. Anyway, he's going to play starting running back for Tex, and so that was the point of that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Whatever. Anyway. All right. Okay. We'll be at Funky's tonight, 5:30. Dave Womack joining us. Plenty of good stories likely from him. So come get the drink and food specials. That'll be the Friday podcast. If you can't make it, we'll have it up early in the morning. Check rebelgrove.com. In the meantime, we got a practice availability. There'll be something from that as well. And we will talk to you again soon.